just couldn't make this up in terms of timing. So I ran a few hours ago my Quantum Entanglement Experiment. This whole show, which I've just put on randomly this evening, it's finishing in a couple of minutes, is talking about sound frequency. Now, the webinar I was running was part of the Quantum Entanglement Remote Experiment. We use nail clippings as part of it. Just listen to this, because I always say whenever I put this show on randomly, it is always about the thing that I've just been working on. So listen, hold on, let me just turn it up a little bit. Here we go.
Such as bones or skulls or hair.
While it may sound like a primitive notion that a bone fragment or a piece of fabric retains a connection to the person it once belonged to, some researchers suggest it is not so far-fetched and point to the modern-day scientific concept of quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement says that if two objects, particles, were ever connected, they're forever connected. And you can link with that being clear across the universe through an object, through quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement is based on the idea that electrons are like waves, and if I have two electrons right next to each other, they wave simultaneously, coherently. If I separate them, there's an invisible umbilical cord that connects these two, even if I separate them to the ends of the universe.
Is that what talismans are ultimately all about? Some kind of quantum entanglement device? A god originally touched or possessed?
Seriously, you just couldn't make this up, because my experiment, which I started, so it's the 1st of, well, just touching into the 2nd of November, but just by an 2 hour and a bit. When did I start that? End of July 2024, and I called it the Quantum Entanglement Remote Experiment. And today, well, technically yesterday now, I ran the just started running the Quantum Alchemy Workshop. The results of the Quantum Entanglement Remote Experiment have been mind-blowing. You may have read the blog that I wrote about that, where everyone who took part wrote up their results, which was just amazing. And some people did use the nail clipping. Others, we just used what I call the name imprinting. But the results were absolutely astounding, and that was within 7 days. For example, some, but not making any healing claims or anything like that, just telling you what happened. But one of the participants said they wanted to work on hip pain and osteoporosis. That was all they said in the email. So put them into the scalar energy field, use the Rife frequency, use the Huna energy, clearings, etc. By day 4 of the experiment, they said they had less pain, a less pronounced limp, and walking upstairs without using a handrail. The following weekend, they went to their grandchildren's school fair, and they said they did the Candy dance. Now, Candy is a song by Cameo, and they said they did the Candy dance not once, but twice. Had someone else who said for the past, 3 and a bit years, feeling a sense of grief and loss, and really cut off by the events of COVID and what that did to their business. And by day 7 of the experiment, they said they listened to the Huna energy recording that I'd sent them. They listened to that on the Sunday night, because everyone had 7 individual days. And they said they felt uncapped, they felt unblocked, things were starting to flow again. A book that they've been struggling to write, they said the words were just flowing, and they just wrote in capital letters, "I'm back." That was amazing. Had someone else who wasn't able to sleep through the night because they're waking up every 2 hours because the medication they were on for their, blood pressure, had them waking up every 2 hours to go to the bathroom. And within the week of their experiment, they said they were sleeping, good 5 hours, which means they can sleep through the night. And on the, I think it was the second or third day of the experiment, they went into London, and they said they didn't need to use a bathroom. They just enjoyed themselves in London town. Someone else with muscle stiffness said they were feeling freer. Oh my! And that was both physically in the body and also freer in terms of their networking and their communication. Seriously, all of the results are on the blog. If you go to my main website, transformationstm.com, That's TranceFormationstm.com, transformationstm.com. Click the red What's New button, have a little bit of a scroll, and you're going to see links where I've put links to the results blog, and people have shared in their own words exactly what happened, and it's just amazing. And I was saying to them a few months ago, when I first started doing this, I was researching Nikola Tesla and Einstein, because Nikola Tesla talked about the scalar energy that we're using. Actually, hold on, let me just, I'm just going to rewind that a second, because that image is a bit grim. I just realised, sorry. So I was researching Nikola Tesla because I'm using scalar energy for part of this experiment. And I was researching Albert Einstein because he talked about quantum entanglement, what he called spooky action at a distance, because he could see what's happening when you separate the two particles and, like, vibrate one, the other one vibrates even though they're separated by time and distance. And Einstein couldn't quite explain what was going on, just that it was spooky. So he said it was spooky action at a distance. So I'd just been researching that for the start of the experiment. And when I was up late one night, as I am now, having just finished working on the experiment, and I flicked on Ancient Aliens, and literally within seconds, I saw they talk about Nikola Tesla, and there's a picture of him with all of the wonderful, energy waves around him. And then the next segment is about Albert Einstein and quantum entanglement. You couldn't make this stuff up if you tried. So I always like a bit of divine timing and synchronicity. And when I switch this show on, I'll see if I can put the two videos together. And it's not very good quality because I'm actually lying in bed at the moment. But when I flick this on, 7-8 minutes ago, they were talking about using sound and frequency and music, and that is exactly what today's webinar was about. And we had a whole to-do, a bit of a faffing about, as I call it, with me trying to get the music, the sound, the frequency to play as an overlay on the video. Those of you who were there will know exactly what I'm talking about. So I spent a couple of hours this evening. I was editing that down just so we can get the Huna and Access Consciousness just on one audio, so you can just go straight to the clearing process that we did, and then looking at ways to translate the video of the frequencies into the audio. So I spent the last 3-4 hours doing that, and I switched on this program, and literally the words that came out of their mouth were about sound, frequency, music, and talismans, and imprinting energy, because we're doing the holographic stickers. So we're imprinting frequencies into the holographic stickers, into the crystals. That was the first thing a few minutes ago. And then, as I just let it roll, this is the next bit we come to. You couldn't make this up if you tried. So this is Ancient Aliens. Thank you to William Henry. You've just seen him there. He's one of the producers of this show. My God, my God, my God. And one of the things that happens when the synchronicities happen, particularly with around this, I'm in the same place that I was in July, where I was kind of lying here going, okay, is this really going to work? Am I out of my mind? Is this crazy? Can we really do this? Boom, 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 boom. And then I flicked on the TV and it was on. And this evening, I'm lying here going, okay, I've just spent all this time. I haven't yet found a way to do it the way I want to do it. Am I crazy? Is this really going to work? Are we onto something here? Boom, 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 about the sound and the frequency and the harmonics and all the rest of it. Because this is something different that we're doing. Because what I wanted to do this time around, I've been doing the Huna energy work. I first came across Huna in the year 2000. Went out to Hawaii for the first time in 2005, and then went back in 2009 again to study Huna. So I've been using the remote Huna energy clearings for close to over 20 years, if you just count when I first came across it. It's now 2024. So I know that works, but what I want to do, what I'm doing this time around, is overlaying the Huna with the sound frequencies. So that kind of matches what I'm clearing energetically with the Huna, and we did Access Consciousness today. And then using the sound frequencies as an overlay on that. And so having had all the faffing about today and spent several hours, playing with the frequencies this evening, I am lying here going, really, Marilyn, what are you doing? Is this really going to work? Is this, come on, what are we doing here? And then it's almost like the universe gives you a little bit of a nod and goes, there you go. Anyway, that's going to make no sense, maybe, to those of you who don't know anything about the Quantum Entanglement Remote Experiment that I've been running. But for those of you who do and who are taking part, we had phase 1, which was using the scalar energy and the just the rife frequencies. Phase 2, then we're doing the harmonics and doing the radionics imprinting. That's been really fascinating. Phase 3, we're just getting into that now with the Quantum Alchemy, which the first experiment was just for a group of people from my e-newsletter list. The Quantum Alchemy Workshop is open more to the public. So we've just started that. It was workshop number 2 today. And phase 4, we're doing a quantum entanglement terrain detox, and that's going to start in a few weeks' time. And so people have sent in the nail clippings for that, and we're going to run an 11-day quantum entanglement remote detox. So exactly what they are talking about here. Anyway, it's the early hours of the morning. I'm probably rambling, so I'm going to leave it there. Marilyn Devonish, the NeuroSuccess coach and rapid transformation specialist from transformationstm.com, over and out. And thank you to everyone who has taken part in the experiment and very kindly shared your incredible results. Also, actually, one other thing that happened, so I didn't know this until I ran part 1 of the Quantum Alchemy Workshop, and someone who took part in the experiment was there, and they were talking about abundance. And I said, oh yeah, when we did the part 2 and with the radionics and stuff, I said, oh yeah, everybody that I ran the program for, I ran an abundance frequency for them, an abundance program. And they said, I didn't know that. And they said, Marilyn, when the next phase of the experiment started, they received 2 years of back pay for work they'd done. They received 2 years of back pay for the work they did years ago and did not charge for. And somebody bought them, they live in the UK, somebody bought them a ticket to America as a thank you for something they'd done for them in the past. That's insane. And someone else who took part in phase 2, where we did the radionics imprinting, they said within 2 days of receiving the holographic sticker and the crystal, they said they made a sale. It's cool. Their work is brilliant, amazing, fantastic. Of course they made a sale. They said, no, Marilyn, it's the first sale that I've made in 6 months. It's just like, whoa. Now, you could say it was a coincidence. I'm not a big believer in coincidences. I'm more into synchronicity, aka Carl Jung, and actually Einstein. That's a story for another day. But that's how insanely cool and brilliant this whole quantum entanglement remote experiment has been. So hold on to your metaphorical hats. And for those of you who are joining us next weekend, the 9th of November, where I'm bringing the scalar energy boxes in the room, because everything's been done remote, but this is an in-person, so we're going to have the scalar energy boxes in the room. I think I'm going to bring there's a energy generator machine as well that can help change the frequency in the room. We're gonna bring along the Wristex, the cold laser. You can experience that. The fascia release process, that's just 3 minutes. Wow. The belly button healing, we stimulate the vagus nerve, bringing that. The hydrogen water, bringing that along as well. I actually must remember, note to self, bring the dowsing rods with me. It's going to be insane. So everything we've been doing remotely and feeling the power of that, we're going to have the remote scalar energy, etc., in the room. There are 2 places left if you want to join us again. You can ping me an email, marilyn@transformationstm.com, or go to the website, click the red What's New button. Actually, that's a good point. I might not have added that yet because it's just really been sort of mailing list, but I'll add that it's called the Health Activation Day. And I'm bringing together some of the modalities that I've used over the last 30 years that have really dramatically made a difference with my health. And best of all of them pretty much take between 3 and 4 minutes. The Wristex is the longest one. You can wear that, you put that on the wrist for the meridian points. And that sequence runs for 30 minutes. But with a lot of the other stuff we're doing, 3 to 4 minutes. and it starts having an impact and an effect. And of course, with the scalar energy field, we're going to set the scalar energy up in the room because we're using a private cottage. So we're going to set that up in the space that we're using. And of course, you know, you're going to be bathing in all of this quantum entanglement remote experiment. And I'm going to bring along the harmonic frequency sound as well. So we can put those sound frequencies and the detox frequencies into the scalar waves, which means while we're doing things in the room, we're projecting, I guess you can call it that, but we're imprinting that into the scalar waves that we're going to be in the center of in the room. It's too cool for school. What can I say? Thank you, universe. I do love a good synchronicity. Well, I do hope that you're all fit and healthy and well. And if you're not, check out the Remote Entanglement Quantum Experiment. Catch you all later. Marilyn Devonish, the NeuroSuccess coach and futurist, over and out.